What a timeline we're living in right now, guys. We just had the main event for UFC 325, and a lot of the fights for UFC 324 just announced. Today, I'm going to be giving y'all my early preview and prediction, and also my just immediate reaction and thoughts on these crazy fights that we got going on right here. We're going to be taking it fight by fight here, right? Because honestly, they're pretty damn good. I've been seeing a lot of complaints online about a lot of these fights, but really, the only one I have a problem with is the 325 main event. A big problem with it. We're going to get to that at the end of the video, but starting off with the main event of 324, right? Kicking off Paramount pretty strong in my opinion. It's Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. If you just stick your ear up comically, like in Looney Tunes, right? If you just stick it to the ear, you can hear Arman Tsarukyan crying from miles away. Because unfortunately, man, even though he is one of the best lightweights in the world, probably the second, third at worst, right? And even though he's coming off a great win, UFC said, get the hell out of here. Okay, it's superstar time. We got Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim title. And honestly, I really like this fight. I was saying before, okay, I think they should really book Paddy versus Gaethje. So just because there's an interim title on the line now isn't going to make me dislike it. I love this fight a lot, man. It is a lot of 50-50 in my mind of who's going to win, but I'm leaning towards Paddy to get this done. Addressing the Arman Tsarukyan thing really quick, right? I mean, he's a millionaire, and obviously he took like a year and a half off, so clearly he doesn't need the money to fight. But I guess in terms of seeing the very, very best lightweights on the planet go at it, I know that it kind of sucks that we're missing out on Tsarukyan until probably like the summer or the fall once again. But just in terms of this matchup, right? Just ignoring Tsarukyan, just like the UFC is, I guess, man. With Ilia Topuria, he's not vacating the belt, so he is still the champion here. Probably is going to be facing the winner of this fight, especially if it is going to be somebody like Paddy Pimblett. Topuria said he doesn't want any business with Gaethje or Tsarukyan or any of these guys unless it's Paddy at 155, which I kind of hate that, to be honest. So in a way, I'm kind of like even more for Paddy to win so that we could see Paddy versus Topuria, but it's even more hyped up. Both these guys have the belts, whatever, but Topuria has a lot of personal things going on, and you know what? I do feel for the guy. It is rough, okay? I'm not just saying, oh, you got to go fight and you just got to get back in there. Topuria's ducking. I'm not saying any of that, okay? The dude is a human being and he's got shit going on, okay? So I got to understand that, and it does suck to see him so inactive, especially when we know how good he is, but we have this in the meantime, thankfully, at least to carry us through. Maybe I'm looking at it too optimistically, whatever the hell, but I really dig this fight, 5 rounds. I think that Gaethje has the power to maybe knock out Paddy, but I'm a big lad and I don't get knocked out. Lad Scousers don't get knocked out. And Paddy Pimblett, man, I think his chin might be able to hold up. And I think he's really going to be able to implement his grappling pretty efficiently on Gaethje. We're going to see some of that ground and pound he was doing against Chandler, maybe even go for a submission. I feel like no matter who wins this fight, it's going to end in a finish. But, dude, Justin Gaethje's no joke. Like, there is a really good chance that Gaethje can go ahead and win this one. The only thing I don't like about Gaethje getting a title shot is that I didn't like the attitude, bro, of him saying that he was going to retire if he doesn't get a title fight and blah, blah. Like, I can't stand that, man. This guy's one of the baddest motherfuckers in the sport, and for him to just be saying all that, I was like, all right, bro, just retire, man. Just fucking retire at that point. You know what I mean? I really like Gaethje, but at the end of the day, man, it's just, I hated seeing that kind of talk, especially for a division as deep as lightweight and competitive as lightweight. So that, and for as much as Gaethje's been proven to go in there and get the hell after it consistently. So that sucked to see, but he's getting his wish, man, okay? Like it's the Will Smith, Aladdin, genie, and guess what, motherfucker? You're getting your wish. You're fighting for the belt, okay? So in general, though, I think that Gaethje's good enough with his striking and has powerful enough striking. We haven't really seen it too much lately, and I know he's kind of lacking all momentum. But, dude, people forget, man, we are truly people forget, man, how good of a fighter Justin Gaethje really is because of the inactivity and because he wanted to sit out for the title and all that shit. But regardless, Gaethje has a really good chance of getting this done. There's a reason why he's been fighting at such a high level for so long, man. And in general, his takedown defense is good enough, and he was able to kind of officially mix it up against a guy like Fiziev to where, especially in the rematch, to where, all right, man, if he keeps this fight standing, man, I think that Paddy has underrated striking and a pretty underrated chin, but I think Gaethje might be able to find that chin just like he has done with so many others, or just be able to just outwork him, outdog him, and outstrike him over 5 rounds. Who the hell knows, okay? I'm leaning with Paddy because I think he has the underrated striking, because I think he's the more, not necessarily a more well-rounded fighter. I would say Gaethje's a bit more on the one-dimensional side of things because he chooses to stand and bang most of the time, but I feel like Paddy has more weapons here to get it done, okay? Especially if he gets it on the ground like he wants to, clearly. So I really dig this fight, man. Very curious who's going to win this one, and very curious who's going to be facing Ilia Topuria next up here. But feel for Topuria. Hopefully, I didn't even do that on accident. Sometimes I don't even know how to say his name. Is it Topuria? Topuria? I don't even know. Okay, but Gregor's fucking with my head. Get out of me head! Get out of me head! Like it's a Smiling Friends episode. But wishing Topuria the best here. It sucks to see him inactive, but I really like this fight. Hell of a way to kick off Paramount. The co-main event. Thank the stars, man, that we did not get this as the rumored main event like it was supposed to be, man. If this kicked off Paramount, I feel like I would just have a bad taste in my mouth despite all the good fights I'm about to talk about after this one, okay? But I like this fight a lot, man. We just have Shevchenko versus Weili, and a lot of people are saying it's the best women's fight we've ever seen, but it ended up being a stinker, so I guess fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice. Uncle Dana's gonna try again here and get it. We got another women's fight banger on our hands here, okay? Because truly, Harrison versus Nunes, we knew we were gonna get it. They faced off in the cage. It was pretty much damn near confirmed, okay? But Harrison's got a tough time making that weight, and Nunes probably wants all the time she can to prepare since she's been out for a long time. So I like that this is, kicking off January. I like the timeline of it. Both of them had, Harrison just had like 6 months off. I think that's fair. I guess that's it. I guess that's active for champions now anyways. I got a tear in my eye like I'm Ric Flair saying that, but it is what it is, man. I'm leaning towards Harrison to get this one done. I worry about Nunes' time off, man, facing somebody as good as Harrison. Harrison, I really do think is that good, man. Her striking is pretty solid, especially for these bantamweight women's divisions that we got going on here. But her grappling and just her strength, her prowess when she gets you in the clinch, she's getting these takedowns going, okay? And she's beating you up on the ground or aiming for these submissions or just able to efficiently control you. I don't think that's going to be too good for Nunes, who, yes, has a lot of power on the feet. I could see her knocking out Harrison, especially she might be chinny with that big weight cut that she has to deal with, okay? She's going from like a women's heavyweight cutting down a bantamweight. It's crazy, but I think that the time off might be concerning for Nunes, but in terms of her pure skill set, we know she can mix it up with the grappling. We know how good she is on the feet for these women's bantamweight divisions, and Harrison is a marauder as well, man. Harrison has a lot of tools to get this done, so I'm hoping we don't get a stinker here, but I think Harrison might be able to overwhelm her in the grappling. I really like this fight, and honestly, I'm really glad it's not the main event here, okay? It makes me appreciate it more. Moving on to the featured fight here, okay? A bantamweight banger. We got a striker versus striker. If Song Yadong's able to win this one, he gets a title shot, and if Sean O'Malley wins this one, he's going to be able to bounce back officially and maintain his top 5 spot here. We got Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Love this fight. I feel like that this was a fight that we had kind of in our minds for a while now. If it wasn't going to be like O'Malley versus Figueiredo, I think we all just knew it was going to be O'Malley versus Song. You had Sean talking about himself. You had Tim Welch talking about himself. How's the diet, Sean? How's everything going, bud? Yeah, it's almost over. Genuinely, I love this fight, man. This is going to be a very high-paced scrap. I wouldn't be too surprised, man. I'm not surprised, motherfuckers like Nate Diaz, but I wouldn't be too surprised if Song Yadong is able to mix in some takedowns here. But I think with how much O'Malley's been prepping for the takedown defense going against guys like Merab, not even guys like Merab specifically 2 camps in a row, I think that that's kind of, not accidentally, but it's kind of automatically, not automatically either. I don't know how to say this, but it's made his takedown defense just better as a whole in the meantime, because Merab is probably about as good of a wrestler as you can get right now, right up there with the newborn Nurmagomedov for the bantamweight division. So Song Yadong is a really good fighter. He is a really good striker, okay? And with his wrestling specifically, he can take down a couple of his opponents here and there, and he's solid with it against a certain level of competition. But I think Sean O'Malley's takedown defense will hold up, man, even if Song does try to shoot. And I think this is a stand and bang battle like I think it's going to be. I would lean towards O'Malley to get this one done. And don't get me wrong, if Song Yadong wins, I feel like that would be a good timeline we're in, because then we do get, a fresh new name, and it's also a very deserved title shot for Merab, and it doesn't have to be some forced contender. But at the end of the day, I like Sean O'Malley, and I am kind of rooting for him here, okay? Love his fighting style, and in general, I think he gets a bit too shit on at times. I love that he's just really been real as fuck lately, like saying about how, like, oh, it's really rough that JDM got his first title defense as Islam. I got Cheeto Vera. Like, I appreciate the realness from O'Malley lately. And in terms of his pure fighting style, man, I think he's going to bring it in this fight. He's so fast. He's so precise. He has really good shot selection and timing with everything. And in general, he might not be the most powerful guy, but his combinations lead to these crazy knockouts. So we might even see O'Malley get a knockout over Song. And Song Yadong, I know I was kind of only talking about the wrestling a bit earlier here, but the guy's a good striker in his own right, man. We're going to have to see if he's on that level of O'Malley in terms of being that pure sniper and just overloading with the combinations and really being able to hang in the pocket as well as O'Malley does. But Song Yadong is one of the most underrated fighters on the roster. It's crazy how young he is. It's like it's a Chinese Max Holloway with how early he got in the UFC and how much longer he's still going to be in the UFC, and yet he's still hanging around in the top 10, man. So I do like Song, I do like O'Malley, and I love this matchmaking here, okay? I think it's going to be a very high-paced banger of a fight. Sean O'Malley is one of the biggest stars the UFC has right now. It makes perfect sense why they'd want to put him on this Paramount card, especially the first one, okay? Moving on to the next one we got here, Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Where's Waldo? Taking on Derek Lewis here. I am leaning with Cortes-Acosta to get this one done, and even if he doesn't, man, I'm going to tip my Ben Askren Frodio out of respect because, Jesus, man, the activity is crazy. He was trying to get a fight in December. Unfortunately, the UFC couldn't work something out because heavyweight, I'm pretty sure in total has only like 30 fighters or maybe even less. I don't know, okay? All you got to do is go 1-0 against Justin Tafa and to get a shot in the rankings, apparently, like we've seen with Teixeira and guys like that. So I feel like I understand why they pushed it back to January, and I don't mind that timeline. I feel like we're going to see an even better Cortes-Acosta anyways. I mean, don't get me wrong, it would have been absolutely insane, absolutely unbelievable, folks, if he was able to get 6 fights in a calendar year. That'd be crazy. Since March, I believe, which is even more crazy, but in general, I really like this matchup, man. I feel like it's going to be full violence for sure. I'm like representing the full violence team right now. Every time I feel like I say full violence together, but genuinely, man, this is an absolute scrap. If Derek Lewis is able to just pull this one out the fire, man, is able to just get some kind of nasty blobby KO like we've known him to do consistently throughout his career, it'd be crazy to say because honestly, I wouldn't mind a Derek Lewis getting a title shot as like his retirement fight or something like that against a Tom Aspinall or God forbid a Cyril Gane wins or someone like that. But I don't know, man. Cortes-Acosta, there's so much you could do with him possibly after this. Maybe a Volkov or Blades or maybe even the title shot itself. Who knows? But I really respect the activity of Cortes-Acosta. I've always thought he's kind of been one of the more overhated fighters on the roster. But now it seems like from October, everybody hated him. Now to November, everybody loves him. And I think it's deserved, man. Okay, the guy brings it consistently. I love the activity. And now he's getting a bunch of knockouts as well. I know he was getting kind of do a bit of consistent decisions before, you know what I mean? Only kind of knocking out Ryan Spann and shit like that. But genuinely big fan of this fight. I think that Derek Lewis has a really good chance of knocking him out, but Waldo Cortes-Acosta has shown that he has a really good chin. He's really durable, man. He lasted 3 rounds with Pavlovich, and I get it's patient Pavlovich, but in that 3rd round, man, they were scrapping, getting in the pocket, and Pavlovich still wasn't able to take him out of there, and Cortes-Acosta's taken some big shots, and yet he still hasn't been knocked out. Okay, so Lewis, I feel like, can be able to still find that knockout regardless. He has the most knockouts in heavyweight, or I'm sorry, just UFC history in general, but I feel like this is good matchmaking here. Top 5 versus top 8 here, and I'm leaning towards Cortes-Acosta to get it done via knockout or decision here, okay? Moving on up next to open up the main card, man. Hell of a banger. I've heard talks that this one was in the works, but Jesus, it's like it's Christmas because I'm under the tree looking up at this guy and saying, thank you so much for this fight. Thank you so much for this fight, man. This is an absolute banger. The return of Arnold Allen, who I truly believe is one of the most underrated fighters on the roster, taking on Silva, who, yes, is coming off a rough loss to Lopes, but I really feel like he's going to learn from that. I feel like he was getting very reckless in that 2nd round. As soon as he realized, okay, I have my time to play it on the feet, he's throwing a bunch of spinning attacks and stepping elbows and all the shit and got caught with the spinning elbow of Lopez's. I think that Silva's going to be a bit more patient and composed in this one, but yet still maintain that high energy, aggressiveness, explosivity, and crazy knockout power that he's shown, okay? Arnold Allen, man, like I said, very underrated, but the inactivity, it really sucks for him, man. He hasn't fought since July of 2024, and now he's coming back over a year and a half later, technically, you know what I mean? So it's rough for him because for as good as he is, man, he's got good takedown defense. He's able to keep the fight standing. And in terms of his pure striking, pure boxing, he's really good, man. It's beautiful to watch, but this is such a rough comeback for him, man. I feel like Allen could beat a lot of guys in the rankings, but it seems like this is the UFC's way of saying, okay, Allen, you're inactive. Let's try and get our boy into the top 6, top 7, whatever Allen is. I think he's 6. Yep, 6, okay? So in general, I like to scrap a lot regardless, and I do think that Allen could win it. Allen is good, man. I think that he might be able to outstrike and outvalue him and just piece up Silva. I don't think knock him out, but if he's able to avoid getting knocked out in his own regard, I think he has a really good chance of winning this one. But Silva, man, is just a dangerous beast. He's still young as well. Both these guys are, don't get me wrong. But I think he's going to learn from the loss of Lopes. I think that we're going to see a very entertaining scrap here, and it's a great way to kick off the main card. I'm leaning towards Silva to get this one done. And I would say via a knockout, like a 29-28 exciting decision, but we'll have to see, man. Okay, I love this fight for both guys, and it makes a lot of sense. But dude, the featured prelim for this card, I believe. I don't think this is on the main card. They genuinely announced when Dana White was putting on the main card, okay, that he didn't put Nurmagomedov versus Figueiredo here. Crazy featured prelim to have if that's the case, but Umar Nurmagomedov's taking on Davison Figueiredo. I see a lot of comments saying, oh, this doesn't make any sense for Umar. What a dumb fight. Motherfucker, yes, it does make sense. In my personal opinion, at least, okay? Because I didn't want to see Umar just get a win over Mario Batista and get the title shot against Merab again. At least if we are going to get Merab versus Umar too, Listen, I think the first fight was very close and it was very entertaining, and I get Umar's coming off a win, so I get that they could have given the shot anyways, but I like this a lot from Umar. I'm not even an Umar fan, but this makes me kind of like him a smidge more, the fact that he is taking these matchups. He said he wanted to fight one more time against a big name before Ramadan hits. He wants to get 2 wins before he gets a title shot and before Ramadan starts, and man, I really like that, because if Umar does win, which I really think he will, that's one of my more confident picks out of everything here. I'm definitely going to be going Umar over Figueiredo, who's going life and death with Montel Jackson, coming off a lot of rough losses before that. So it's tough for Figueiredo as much as I love this fight, but I love the fact that Umar is taking this matchup, man. In general, it is a good fight. I am excited for it, man. Okay, there's not too much you can really do with Umar besides a Figueiredo and stuff like that right now anyways, besides just giving him a title shot. But I think having Umar, get even more into his prime, learn even more after the Merab loss, gain even more ranked wins and actual experience instead of just relying on his only 2 ranked wins being Corey and Batista, which are great wins. And he snapped Mario's winning streak. I almost said Merab. I don't want him to burst in my door. Hey, motherfucker, I did not lose to Umar. I will beat the shit out of you, Smoke. I don't want any of that from Merab right now. Jesus. But in general, man, respect to Umar for actually trying to get these fights in, okay? I think he's going to be able to get the better of Figueiredo, efficiently out-grapple him, and maybe even just outstrike him on the feet. Umar in his own right with his striking, I feel like it is pretty damn good, man. We've always said that's kind of what separates him from a guy like Khabib, his predecessor, brother. Like, the fact that Umar is a much more efficient striker. He's got a really good kicking game. He's very comfortable getting in the pocket with guys like Merab or guys like Corey, who might not have the craziest knockout threat, but in the striking alone in those performances, man, like Umar has looked good. And in general, man, I know he kind of just efficiently out-grappled Mario Batista. We didn't see too much of his striking in that fight, but we know that it's solid. We know that it's good. We know that it's fast and very efficient, has good combinations, and I feel like he'll be able to utilize that against Figueiredo, who I feel like it's just at the tail end of his career, man. Unfortunately, man, like I like Figgy, but this is a really rough matchup for him, man. Again, going life and death with Montel Jackson, who isn't highest caliber of competition for the UFC. Montel Jackson's a great win. He's a good fighter. He's got hands of steel behind the hands. Don't get me wrong, but Figueiredo's just getting even older. He's getting more into the young status, okay, while Umar is just really getting going with his prime now. And he's actually being active and building momentum. Like, whoa, we got a Dagestani fighter, literally making a 2-month turnaround. I never thought I'd see the day, but here we are, guys, okay? So respect to Umar for actually taking this fight, and respect to Figueiredo, man. It'd be crazy if he gets it done, but I'm going to be leaning with Umar to just efficiently out-grapple him, maybe find some kind of submission here. Who the hell knows, man, okay? Can't believe it's the feature prelim. Good Lord. And now, so with all that said, new account, before I get to 325, I want to make it clear I'm a really big fan of 324. I don't think it deserves the shit that it is getting. Like, if you open up all the Instagram comments, it's a lot of hate, and I really don't understand it, man. I think this is a great pay-per-view to kick off the Paramount deal. Don't get me wrong, I would have liked to see Topuria versus Saryukian, probably more than a Gaethje versus Patty for a title, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. I understand where Topuria is coming from here. And for what this card is, Dana was saying that this is going to be one of the best cards they're ever going to produce, especially the main card. And I'm not going to lie, man. We have 2 good title fights. There's an interim in there. I get it, okay? And you can question Patty, and you can question Gaethje, whatever. But it's going to be an exciting scrap. We got 2 title fights here. We have 2 top 5 matchups. You got Umar with a top 5 matchup on the prelims. You got Waldo Cortes-Acosta, Derek Lewis. And we have a top 10 matchup for the featherweights open in the main card. So in general, I really like 324. I can't complain too much about it, to be honest with you, okay? We also have Atba Gatir on the prelims as well, so that's going to be another crazy knockout we're about to see from him, okay? I wish he got a higher level of competition and a step up, but it is what it is, man. All right, let's get this over with, dude. The UFC 325 main event. I can't stand this shit. Look at me smiling, okay? I got to get rid of it. Let's lock in, boys. I fucking hate this fight. I truly do, dude. This is going to be someone that really summons Lucas Tracy out of retirement. He's going to be like a ghost from Luigi's Mansion rising right before our very eyes. I can't stand this fight, man. You had the undefeated Russian and Movsar Evlev, who I feel like I could have been intrigued by, like, oh, can Volkanovski get a win and redeem himself against an undefeated Daggy fighter, and how he kind of lost to Makachev. If he can get that redemption and retire in front of his hometown crowd, and he doesn't have to deal with the knockout threat, man, okay? His chin can be intact, and he can get a little happy ending to this Choose Your Own Adventure game of the Volkanovski journey we're on. Or he could have fought Lerone Murphy, another undefeated fighter in the top 5, who I get it kind of does need a big top 5 win to really sell the title fight even more. And I understand that getting a win over Aaron Pico despite being undefeated, oh, maybe that doesn't deserve a title shot, whatever. But he's still a great, well-rounded fighter who's going to be carrying the UK. And Man, I think with Evloev as well, I understand maybe not giving him the title shot because how long he's been inactive. I do understand that, okay? He didn't fight all of 2025, so I can understand not wanting to give someone a title shot with that logic. It's the same reason why I'm saying I think Gary should get a title shot over Shavkat, even though Shavkat beat him. It's like Gary has proven more lately, man. He's been a lot more active, and he's got great wins since the loss, a very close loss. So in that regard, I understand the reasons for maybe not giving it to Murphy or maybe not giving it to Evloev. But let's be honest. The real reason they're doing this is because they really want Lopes as the champion. They really do, man. They were probably rooting for him the first time, and it's just crazy that we just saw this fight happen, and now all of a sudden, here we are once again, man. You don't even have to step into the hyperbolic time chamber, okay? It's literally, this was the last fight of Volkanovski. You will forever see on his record now, and it's probably going to be his retirement fight since he's getting even more up there in age, and it's the main event, and it's Australia crowd, which I love that for him, but Jesus Christ, man. You're forever going to see the two Diego Lopes fights just back-to-back on his record, and that's a wrap for Volk, unfortunately, win or lose. It just seems like they're trying to plant the seed, like how Joey Diaz was saying, they're trying to plant the fucking seed with Khabib. And they're trying to I hate when I do that every time. Why do I keep doing that? It's like the second or third time I've done that, but I'm just saying, man. They're trying to plant the seed of having Lopes tap into that Mexican market. They want to see him as a very active champion, exciting champion who gets crazy knockouts, man, okay? I like Lopes a lot, okay? Genuinely right under Volkanovski. Probably my favorite featherweight. In general, just one of my favorite fighters on the roster pound for pound. So I'm not trying to shit on Lopes. It's not his fault. What's he going to do? Say no to a title shot? I understand it, okay? And I love that the mustache is all of a sudden becoming like a new mythical fighters thing. With him and Prates, they get a mustache. All of a sudden, they're getting these crazy wins, okay? But they always were, but you know what I mean? But dude, it just really feels forced to me. And not only does it feel forced, they're just trying to run it back so Lopes can be the superstar champion or trying to build him up to be one. But it just is so disrespectful to Volkanovski. He just beat him. He was calling for Evloev. He was down for Murphy, okay? And obviously, he's a bad motherfucker. He's one of the baddest men on the planet. He's not going to pick and choose his opponents. He'll just say yes to whoever they give him. So it's not on Lopes, and it's not on Volkanovski. This one's on the UFC, man. I genuinely feel like they really got to stack up this card to kind of like make up for this man. Like, don't get me wrong, people will get excited for it. People will pick Volk, they'll pick Lopes, but it is so disrespectful to Volkanovski, and it just reeks of the vibes that they're really rooting for Lopes to win. So for as much as I like the 324 announcements, I hate this fight announcement, man, okay? They're going to have to add a solid co-main here, solid main card as well. And I will say this, I do like that we're getting 324 and 325 back-to-back within the same 7 days. So especially if they make 325 a really good card, that'll be an amazing time to be a fight fan. We're going to be eating good like it's Minecraft. But in general, man, I still can't forgive this fight specifically, bro. I'm rooting for Volk, and I picked him the first time to win, but he's just going to get even more old. Well, he's not even like an ultra unk, okay? He's not even the Super Saiyan unk, but he's like 37, 38 years. I think he's 37 years old going against Lopes, who's just in the middle of his prime. And I just see what you're doing, UFC, okay? And I'm shaking my head at you, man. The disrespect to Volk is crazy here, okay? But I'm leaning towards Lopes to win the rematch. My point with that was, yeah, I picked Volk the first time, and it was an amazing fight, don't get me wrong. Very cool back and forth and one of the best fights of this year. It'll probably be the same thing in the rematch if it lasts 5 rounds, but I feel like Lopes might actually be able to learn from the mistakes he made in the first fight, okay? And just be able to maybe find that knockout. It's going to be possibly unfortunate. I mean, I would like if Lopes is the champion. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good things that would come with that. Like I said, very entertaining, exciting, and active. And then we could get him versus, an Evloev rematch or a Murphy. There's fun fights waiting for him. Even the terrorist and Yair Rodriguez. But it just is so disrespectful to Volk. And as a big Volk fan, man, and especially with all these other big announcements, this just kind of seems like the stain on it, in my opinion, at least, okay? So that's my immediate thoughts and reactions here, and my early previews and predictions for UFC 324 and 325. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm very, very curious at your guys' thoughts. I'm seeing all sorts of different opinions, okay? But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as usual, guys, thank you so very much for giving me your time and attention. Truly, as always, absolutely means the world to me. Have a good one, guys.